So, more accolades to talk about. This is just brilliant. Who needs Hockey Hall of Fame when you get named International People of the Year? And we're not even halfway through the year! Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, yeah, that is incredible. We're only in April, guys. So there's still a lot of 2026 to come. Yeah, still a lot of that to come. Yeah, so if you're already feeling like, oh my god, this year's going by already, don't worry, no. It might feel like that, because obviously we've had Blah, Cortina, and of course us three had the Triple of Lifetime after that, but no. 2026 is still in full swing, so don't feel too alarmed by that. Nah. But yeah. So, there's an interesting piece here in, hold on, I'm just lining up the link. One second. Right, give me 2 seconds to find it. Right, so here we go. This is incredible, by the way. Right, got it. Yeah, got it. That's fine. Back and running. Okay, so absolutely brilliant. So Seattle Torrent's captain Harry Knight has earned her place on Time's 100 most influential people of 2026. I know, right? We're not even at the halfway point of 2026 yet, and already we're getting people doing their lists of the year. Right, yeah. So anyway, so that is incredible. So I did have a look before the show. Before we started recording, I did have a look to see how lengthy this piece is. Because if it's lengthy, I don't want to read it out in full to you guys. But I've had a quick look, and I think it is about readable. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the piece, and then we'll let these two share thoughts on it. Okay? Yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna do that. Okay. The link will be in the description. He says, and always forgets to do this, but I will try and make sure definitely this link will be in the description. Okay, so this is the profile for Harry Knight from Times. Okay, so I'm going to read it out in full now. So, for female athletes, playing a sport is more than competition. It's a statement. With every game, the players are proving that women's sports are an economy. There we go. I got a bit of tongue there. An economy, a culture, a force. Harry Knight embodies it all. The greatest player in the history of women's hockey, holds all-time World Championship records for goals, assists and points, along with 2 Olympic gold medals. She loves the sport so completely, she never stops finding new ways to be great. But her legacy extends far beyond the record books. A critical voice in the US women's national team's fight for fair pay, Harry advocated for better wages, investment in girls programs, and greater visibility for women's teams. She helped build the PWHL from the ground up and ensure the road will be easier for the next generation. In the final of this year's Olympics, the US team trailed Canada 1-0 late in the third period. With barely 2 minutes remaining, Harry scored a goal and tied up the game, paving the way for her team's victory in overtime. Of course she did. That is what Harry has always done. She shows up, she fights for what matters, and when the movement comes, she is ready. That's it. Okay, that's it. Well, how was it for? Almost, because this is probably going to be like a lengthy but no, that's it. Okay, Can I just add that both her and Carol Koiskofer were huge parts in getting the PHL set up. So it kind of felt right that in the inaugural season, it was Boston v Minnesota for that first World Cup, because you knew that one of the main pioneers was going to be hoisting that cup, and that just brought even more poetic. Yeah, absolutely. You look at who was the biggest in driving the league to existence, it is Hillary and Kendall. Those are the two. And let's just say it, automatic spots in the Hockey Hall of Fame for those two, along with Marie Fleet-Flem. Those three, when the time comes, obviously we don't want it to be anytime soon, but when the time comes, those three, automatic, lock-ins, Hockey Hall of Fame, automatic, okay. Just call it now, So, I mean, it's just incredible what Harry's done over her career. I mean, she's been involved in the Olympics since my first Olympics with the women's game. 2010. It's crazy how both Harry Knight and Marie Fleet-Flem have been every single Olympics that I've been involved with the women's game. 16 years, George. I know. Feels like a different lifetime back then. 2010. That feels like a different lifetime. Yeah, of course, the summer of that year, of course, you had to defend Lotso. And still do to this day. Will you be taking her to Toy Story 5, George? With my slinky. How are you going to do that? I'll just have him round my neck. Oh, look at that. I can't wait to see this. I know you can't wait to see this. Alright, but that feels like a different lifetime. So it kind of feels a bit surreal that these games is her last one. It just feels it just feels a bit surreal. It kind of feels weird now. We are now kind of at that point where for a lot of these players you have to look at the next games and always think, is that now going to be their last one? Because is MPP going to go for number one? Because if she does go for number one, will she be the same age as Crosby? Yeah. Apparently, if Marie Fleet-Flem goes to Nice, she will be the exact same age that Crosby was in Milano. So doable. It's doable. And then Kendall also would be one you think, if she goes to Nice, would that be her last one? Because if she does go to Nice, that would be Kendall's 5th. If MPP does, that would be her 6th. So for a lot of these players, you do now start thinking, oh my god, they're now that age where you start to think, oh my god, they might not be part of the national team for much longer. But the silver line to that is they can still be a part of their PHL team. Because for a lot of Olympic athletes, when they call time, that's it. You don't really hear much from them again, unless they do the reality tennis circuit. Like a lot of us do. But that's the beauty of this league now, is that if some players do call time on the international stage, there is still something for them to do. They still feel like they've got a couple of years left to play hockey. And Harry Knight has made it very, very clear she's not done full time. No. She's made it very, very clear she wants to stay. Very clear she wants to stay in Seattle. So I think the Torrent maybe we're looking ahead to the expansion draft. I'd say this time round, at least give Harry one of your spots, because she's very, very, very clear she wants at least 2. Don't make the mistake Boston did last year, okay? Okay? So, just bear in mind, Torrent, when we get to expansion. But honestly, she's been a pioneer, and there is so much that we can say about her, but we won't. We'll keep it brief, because we could praise her achievements all night long, And, of course, since she's been very busy, obviously, had that unfortunate appearance on Jimmy Fallon, which I thought was a complete piss take, because let's face it, Jimmy Fallon, he didn't really give Hillary that much time. He just kept busy falling over the Hughes brothers. It was just, it's sick making. She also took part in Ila Rosnov's this stupid SNL sketch, which basically just normalised the distasteful joke. And she also most recently, along with Hannah Bilker, her teammate, was at the Oscars. That was something completely unexpected. I remember being in the hotel room, George, and you in Denver, and you saw that post, and meaning all of us thought, is that a joke? Is that real? And then obviously, we had to cross, and then another post came out on the Torrent feed, and oh no, it's correct. I mean, the first image we saw was by someone else, so some random account, and then the Seattle Torrent one posted like, okay, yeah, corroborated the source, but yeah, she's been busy, very busy, yeah, but she is just a one of a kind, and I think we have said it already before. We'll say it again. There is never going to be another player like Harry Knight in this sport. No, just no. I mean, what she has achieved has been absolutely incredible, and yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. Just amazing, and but she hasn't stopped. It's just incredible. Yeah, just keeps going. I mean, it does kind of feel a bit ashamed that with the fact that Boston did what they did, because now, of course, obviously at the time of the expansion draft last year, we didn't know that Boston was going to completely turn things around and put themselves back into contention for the World Cup and be a serious contender. But if Harry Knight was still on that team, then she could have a very good chance of getting the World Cup. Whereas Seattle, and this is no offense to the Torrent, but you're nowhere near ready for that. And when you have a player like Harry Knight, who is probably coming to that point in her career where people are going to start saying when she could be maybe calling it a day, like a lot of people in the NHL are doing it with Ovechkin and Crosby. Or did you see that the other day about how when the Penguins tried to stay on the ice and he was like, no, get off! I'm not going yet! Or was it their last game against Ottawa? It was like, no, I'm not going yet! So he's sort of hinting that no, he's not going anywhere, but he is sort of pushing 40. Isn't he already 40? No, but he just looks it, George, with that hair. No, he is, but no, with that hair, he looks about 50. I don't think Crosby's going anywhere, especially now the Penguins are back to the parts. I don't think Crosby's going anywhere. He's definitely going to still be playing when he's 40. He's not going to go anywhere. But no, but when you look at a player who a lot of people start thinking, oh, when she could have been all that. To be like a team like the Torrent, who aren't sort of anywhere near ready for playoff contention, never mind World Cup contention. It kind of feels a shame that she could potentially be one of those players in the PWHL that never wins the World Cup. Like how I know there's a lot of players in the NHL who have never won the Stanley Cup. A lot of them being Sharks players, George? Just saying. Just saying. Fulton, Marlowe, Pavelski. Just saying. Yeah, just saying. I knew you couldn't resist not bringing that up. Knew you couldn't. Nope. Knew you couldn't do it, George. No. But that's because I know how good those players were. When's he going to retire his number? Pavelski? No clue. Let's make one thing very clear, Victor. It's mine. It's mine. Pavelski's mine. Okay? Pavelski did more for the San Jose Sharks than he did for the Dallas Stars. Okay? So we're good. So, no arguments. Number 8 will go up in the Raptors at SAP Center. He's mine. And when we do get that news, I'm sure you'll be booking your flights straight out there, George. Oh, I loved him. I was so devastated when Joe Pavelski did not return in 2019. That off-season in 2019 was cruel because Doug Wilson, our general manager at the time, just made all the wrong moves. For starters, he re-signed Evander Kane to a hefty contract. He then re-signed Erik Karlsson to a hefty contract, which I felt was not worth it. And that meant we did not really have the cap space for Joe Pavelski to get a contract himself. And so that's when he started looking elsewhere, and obviously the rest is history. And I'm sure for a lot of Boston Fleet fans this time last year, they would have felt that exact same thing, because you do not let a player like Harry Knight go easily. And all Boston had to do was protect her. We had her on our list. You can go check that back. You even go on my Instagram. All the lists we did last year during the expansion process, they are on my Instagram still. You can go, she's there on Boston's. We put her there. It was no argument. So imagine a lot of Boston Fleet fans last summer would have been thinking, this is the sadness and disappointment and gutted that Harry Knight's gone, because that's a player that really would have made a huge impact. I mean, she managed to captain that team to the World Cup finals in 2024, in that first season. So you do not let that player like that go easily. And of course, remember last year, Boston missed out on a tiebreaker. Boston missed out on a tiebreaker. And that was a team that played a very well-rounded season last year, but one regulation win was the difference between missing the playoffs and getting in that 4th spot. That was the difference last year. Yeah, so, but if we look at her tonight, she's just incredible. Absolutely is definitely on course for the Hockey Hall of Fame, as is Kendall Schofield, as is Marie Fleet-Malone. But Hillary, I think Hillary might get in first. Yeah. If we're picking up those three, who's gonna get in first? Probably Hillary. And then you fight, and then Marie and Kendall then just follow afterwards. Yeah. But honestly, I mean, to be named that one of the most influential, that is incredible. Yeah. Especially if we need people to help pave the way, help get people interested in the women's sport, yeah. Get people engaging with the league. Yeah. So to have an influential player like that in our league is incredible. Again, another amazing achievement for the PWHL in only its 3rd season. Incredible. Yeah. It just feels like since the Olympics, people are now starting to pay attention to George, which is good. Because we made it very, very clear going into the local season, we are going to be using these games to grow our footprint, to grow our reach, to grow our outlet, and we certainly have done that. Since Monaco Cortina, more people are now starting to pay attention to women's hockey, which is what we want. But you've got to do more than pay attention. You've got to do more than pay attention. You actually have got to engage. You've actually got to engage with our league, and you can do that simply by either streaming the games on YouTube, or you actually come down to an actual game. That's the best way for you to engage. Yeah. So. Because I'm very, very, very clear in my advocacy work is I don't want to just inform people and educate them on who we are. I also want them to get engaged. And I can't do that for them. They have to do it themselves. I can give them the tools. I can tell you this, right, this is how you access a league. Get on YouTube. I can give you the tools, but you've got to make that call. I can't push you into getting involved. You have to do it yourself. Yeah. Whereas I know how would just force them all. Yes, this is why I'm so glad I'm the advocate and you two are the supporters, because I know exactly what would happen if you would do in the advocacy position of this trio. Yeah, I would just basically say, here's your Frost jersey, put that on. Put it on now! And the men were like, do I have to take my top off first? No, just get it on! Get it on! Yeah. But we all have various ways of going about trying to get this league going, George. And you go for the advocate route, I go for the aggressive route. Still not sure what his route would be. Well, you gotta remember, I had to learn as I went along. Yes, of course, yes. But you do technically now should actually have a position for what you can do in terms of... okay. I'll figure out this summer, I'll get back to you. Right, okay. But to have an influential person like that in our league is absolutely brilliant, because, there's so much these players can do off the ice, as well as on the ice. I mean, you look at the sport of fate, on ice the players can inspire the next generation, and off the ice, the people like you, George, can inspire the next generation of applicants. Yeah, because I can't do this forever. This drains a lot out of me, and I know especially when we get to my twilight years, if I'm lucky, that will then become even more harder. Yeah. So we need to find a way to get more people who can do my role, as well as the people who can do the on ice roles. Yeah, that's. So to have someone like Harry Knight now be named an influential person, that is brilliant, because that's someone that people can look up to. With the MSG game, in the press conference they said that one of the reasons but we obviously for ready for expansion is because of Harry Knight. I can't remember the exact quote for the press conference, but I do remember that they did say, Harry Knight is a big reason why we are kind of ready for expansion, because a lot of people are looking up to her. I can't remember the exact quote, but she did get reference in the article I saw about that press conference that happened before MSG, which of course Harry Knight was playing. And what was really great, because obviously, for the MSG and the TD Garden game, they got treated as if it was a takeover tour game. You did have the starting lineups right up for both teams. And when Harry Knight's name got called, MSG just roared in applause. That was... And that... You would not get that for a Rangers game. No. You would not get... If that was Seattle Kraken versus New York Rangers, and they were reading out the sidelines on the... As players, but actually on the ice, you would not get that. No matter what Crystal Palace says. You would not get that. They would just go, boo! 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 Yeah, you would not get that. You wouldn't. That just shows how more mature our sport is. Women's hockey is more mature than men's hockey. Because you... Hockey, yeah. And of course, no example, of course, what happened last year's World Cup Finals with Blair Pitts getting MVP. Yep. Minnesota crowd gave her a cheer, gave her flowers. Yeah. So that was really great to see. So obviously we roared in applause, because it's Hillary. So it was really great to see that MSG just give her that recognition. Yes, even though she's wearing the opposing team's jersey, they recognise what kind of player she is, and they give her flowers. That is incredible. Yeah, that is incredible. That just shows how the women's game is a lot more bigger than the men's game is. Because I'll say it again, if that was a Seattle Kraken v New York Rangers game, you would not get that. You would not get that chivalry. They would just boo every single one of them. Yeah. So you wouldn't get that. Yeah. So that just shows how influential she is. The fact that in an opposing team's barn, she can get people cheering for her. That just shows how influential she is and what a huge asset she can be. Post-playing. Because we do need to see, now the PHL is involved, now the PHL is an established league, we do need to see more female athletes get involved. Particularly off the ice. Oh yeah, we did, because obviously we had that conversation last year about how the coaching situation, and how we just all three felt that we need to have more women's behind the bench coaching. Why is Jessica Campbell not in the league? Because she wants to be the AHL. But she's going nowhere with the Kraken. No. I finished high the Kraken this season. That says something. And the Kraken spent a lot of time in the top 3 this year. Yeah. Top 3 and wildcard position. Whereas you were just wildcard position. Yeah. That's crazy. Even I, not just you two with your playoff berth, but even I have fared ahead of the Seattle Kraken this year. And yet, I remember last season when Jessica Campbell was given that job with the Kraken, I immediately thought, here's someone who potentially could be... Because obviously last season, there wasn't any talk about Seattle getting expansion team yet. Nah, that came after the Technical Tour. I was looking at being that could be someone who could be a PHL coach. So, yeah. I mean, if she was staying in the NHL, fine. But just bear in mind that when the time calls for her call, they will go ruthless, as we've seen over the years. Yeah. So, to be a coach these days, it's more similar in the PWHL and the AHL. You don't see many firings in the AHL these days. Yeah. Unless it's for some off-season or for a reason. Yeah, we do need more. Could you see her going to coaching? Well, she could be tempted. I mean, for all these athletes, they can't stay away even after they've happily retired. Their dudes, they can't stay away. So it wouldn't be surprised if she did want to. I mean, AT would love to have a player like Harry Knight be their coach. Yeah, she could do it. We'll see. Yeah, but we need to get more of these women athletes. We need to get them more involved, taking the off-ice roles as well as the on-ice roles. I mean, it's great that the majority of the league's GMs right now are women, but you don't really... The spot isn't really much on the... No, I've said this before, how when it comes to hockey, you can only really name your team's general manager, and that's about it, because most of the GMs just stay in the suites during the games. You don't really hear or see from them unless it gets to, like, a major trade happen. Yeah. So, yeah, we need to have more... I really hope with the expansion teams we get this year, I hope they just hire women's coaches, just be done with it, because we need to get that balance back up. I know we were prepared for the ratio to be unbalanced, but we just thought it was just Seattle and Vancouver. Yeah. Obviously Boston then just threw it all into the kill. Yeah. But But honestly, I just feel so happy for her. I mean, like I said, George, we're not even halfway through 2026, and already you've got outlets already naming people of the year. Yeah, it's just crazy. But technically, though, we are coming towards the end of the sports season. Fair dues, we are technically coming towards the end of the 2025-26 season. Next week is the last week of the regular season for us. Then World Cup playoffs begin. While that's going on, the NHL is having their playoffs. The NBA have just started their playoffs. Even though the WNBA have just started their season. Yeah. And also, Calder Cup playoffs in the AHL will also be starting some point next week with the preliminary round first, which my Barracuda will be competing in that again for the second year in a row. Yeah, very good. Ontario's also in, by the way. I know you two don't follow the King Spears, but I'll just put that out. Ontario's is also in, by the way. I think you've got the bye to the Division 2 finals. Yeah, so I can see what you mean, boy. We technically are coming to the end. We are technically coming to the end of the year for the sports, but technically, in terms of the calendar year, we're still very much early days. Yeah, we're still very much early days. Yeah, we don't need to worry about Strictly just yet. Don't go there! Don't go there! I'm dreading when the new host get announced. Oh no! What? I'm dreading it, and you go, I'm having them! Get Claudia back now! Get her out of the Scottish Castle and back on the dance floor! Get her back now! We're in mid-April. How they not been announced yet? I know. How they not been announced? It's mid-April. Just get on with it. Get on with it. Put us out of our misery. Yeah. Okay, yes, I can see your point there, boy. Yes, technically we're coming to the end of the year for sports, but we're nowhere near the end of the calendar year. That will do that. Yeah, so it's incredible for her. Do you go and check that buyout for yourself? And also have a look at see who else is on that list. Maybe I just noticed Hillary. Yeah, but yeah, go and check it out for yourselves, guys. And shall we leave it there? I've got more thoughts to add to that. I think I'm good. Okay, lady. Well, I think we can do that. We honestly we could go on all night. Yeah, but I think we should wrap it up. Yeah, because we could sing. We could actually sing her praises all night long, but nah, I think I'm good there. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, like I said, like link to that profile will be in the description. Check out how to repeat yourselves. But yeah, congratulations to Harry Knight there, getting the World Times Influential People in 2026. Crow achievement. And until next time, thank you as always. Take care, guys. Don't forget to